Whoa, I didn't think I'm gonna be saying this, but I didn't think that I'm gonna be in this place this year. But greetings from Hong Kong, one of the greatest cities in the world, according to me. But I haven't been in the city for a few years, so let's see how am I feeling this time. So far, the first impressions are incredible. It does feel like the same Hong Kong that I fell in love all those years ago. I have been here 2 times. This is my 3rd time. And I just love being next to these tall buildings, double-decker buses, and on the other coast I know that there are double-decker trams. That's the beautiful thing of long-term travel. Like I have said a few times, that sometimes you just don't know where you are gonna end up. Like I didn't know a month ago that I'm gonna be in Hong Kong, and yet I am here because there was a good flight, and I thought, why not go on maybe a hike in Hong Kong? Because yes, by the way, there are some incredible hiking options in Hong Kong, and that's what I'm planning to do tomorrow. Now I'll go and find my hostel. I booked a place at the very last minute, so I chose whatever there was available, like it sometimes happens, and yeah. And then let's head out and I'll talk a bit about my first experiences in Hong Kong while showing the city now. Typical Hong Kong. Oi. I think I almost entered someone's apartment. Typical Hong Kong budget accommodation setup, when in one building they convert apartments into accommodation, hostels. Yeah, they call them hotels or guest houses, but it's the same thing. Tiny places where you can stay for a little money. Also in the city center, and I think this is a great place for me to... Is this the first floor? I think no. I think this is a great place for me to tell you a bit more about the first and the second visit to Hong Kong, because the first visit, during that stay, we were in a very similar place, but worse. Where am I? I could have also taken an elevator. By the way, that place, it's actually nice. Yeah, I was expecting a nice budget place, and it is. €35 a night, I think. Maybe this is the exit. Oh yeah, maybe. I could have taken an elevator. Okay, so where did I left? First time in Hong Kong, 2014. And it was a similar situation because back then as well, we just found a good ticket, good flight to a place which sounded super exotic to us back then, Hong Kong. We booked that flight. And I remember being at Singapore airport, sitting there, waiting for the flight and thinking, well, you know, let's check what are the prices like in Hong Kong. The thing is that back then, and you can read more about the journey in my book, back then when we started traveling we were very naive, we didn't know many things, and so accordingly we had booked that flight but we didn't book any accommodation, we didn't even think to check out what are the options, we didn't know almost anything about the city. In a quick research I found out, let's maybe go somewhere else. In a quick research I found out that the city is very expensive. So the next thing I thought is, well, if it's very expensive and we are traveling on a budget, maybe we should find a place where to stay in advance. We didn't use sites like Booking or Agoda back then, and I'm not sure if there maybe were other ones in 2014. So I remember writing down a note. I don't remember if on a paper or on my phone, but writing down four words actually. Nathan Road and Austin Road. I think Austin Road. Why those? Because as I had found out, these were the places where people are saying that this is where you should go if you are looking for an affordable accommodation. So I did write down those words. Went to Hong Kong. I went to that place which is not far away from here, and when searching for accommodation we did succeed. The process was very similar. We were, only back then we didn't have a booking, but we were entering buildings like this one, walking floor by floor and looking for those small hotels, those apartments turned into hotels, until we found one. The first one was something like $30 a night, and as we learned later, it was actually a big place, maybe an 8 square meter place. Turned out that it's a big place because later we moved to another place where we found a room for $20 a night, and as far as I know you can still find those kind of prices and those kind of places as well. But that one was small. That one was maybe like 5.5, maybe 6 square meters, a private room with a toilet in the famous, as I learned later, building called Chongqing Mansion. You can still find cheap accommodation there, but I didn't want to stay there myself. When I started looking up the photos and remembering what it was like, I thought, let's go for something better this time. So let me turn the camera and I'll continue the story. So that first time, the first big thing was finding accommodation. We found it because I had that note on my phone or in a notebook. Then the next thing is we spent a week in Hong Kong and very quickly realized that city was too expensive for us back then, and ended up eating McDonald's every single lunch, because a meal at McDonald's back then was $2.50 or something like that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I like this feeling being in Hong Kong and feeling tiny next to all those buildings and on these narrow streets. Yeah, we spent a week in Hong Kong. We went to Disneyland, but for the rest I actually don't even know what did we do, but I know that we left feeling that it's a cool place, a place that we would like to return to. A few years later I did return to Hong Kong because I was in Malaysia planning to go to Latvia, checking the flights and realizing that, hey, if I book a flight from Malaysia to Macau, take a ferry to Hong Kong, then spend a week in Hong Kong and fly to Shanghai, then to Moscow, then to Riga, I'm still getting home. Why not make this traveling a bit more interesting? So I did so. I went to Hong Kong for a week. I spent a week in Hong Kong. I did lots of hiking. In 7 days I spent 4 days in the nature. Beautiful, impressive sights, beautiful hikes, beautiful memories. I remember that arrival to Hong Kong, I remember that arrival to Macau, I remember walking across a bridge in Macau and later learning that it's actually forbidden to do that. But I didn't see a sign there. I went there, I did the walk, and on the other side there is the sign, no walking. Look at that narrow building. Long story short, the second visit to Hong Kong was even more impressive, even more memorable, and made me love this city even more. But somehow, someway, I didn't make it back for 5-6 years until now. And I'm happy. I'm happy about this. All of this. Whew. Very good. Skyline of Hong Kong on the other side of the bay. Let's go closer. This is something I remember from the first visit to Hong Kong very strongly, that in many places, many situations, to go across a road you have to go through some shopping center. But that's a reality not only in Hong Kong. Now when I'm used to Asia, big Asian cities, it's a very normal thing for me. One of the tallest buildings in the world. Could be second one? No, not second. The second is in Malaysia now. Maybe fourth, because I think the third one is in Shanghai. This is such a beautiful day, so I have an idea. I am going on a run, and that means I'll finish the video now, here. See you soon, most likely still from Hong Kong. See ya.